Hello, everyone. This is the joint webinar that we're doing with myself, Frank Caparino from San Diego, and Greg Longstaff from New Zealand. Want to say hi, Greg?
Yeah, hi everybody. Thanks for joining us today.
All right, so let's move on, so I don't keep you here all day on a Friday night or Saturday, depending on what time zone you're in. It's still the weekend. Um, First of all, we talk about an international webinar because we're both going to be presenting. We're going to be going back and forth. Let me tell you a little bit about my background. My first of all, my academic background is I have an engineering degree, an MBA, and I'm a certified financial planner. And I don't know if that certification is worldwide known, but it's definitely big in the States when I used to do financial planning. 26 years of self employment. I've had many companies over the years, but my most favorite time and things I want to talk about is the owner of 8 Cold Stone Creameries for 15 years. And Cold Stone Creameries really became Raven fans, and they went kind of crazy in about 10 years. They sold 2,000 franchises in the States. They went globally with China, Japan, and all over Europe. And they even, of course, it would be a natural progression to go into Australia and New Zealand with the English speaking population. But what they seem to say, and Greg, actually, since I got to know Greg, recently, he told me once you register a trademark, you're finished and to bring in somebody else. So supposedly they said that Cold Stone, somebody owned the trademark and they couldn't bring it to Australia. They told me the story. But what happened is they had Coal Rock, which never made sense to me. Did somebody register the trademark and then put it away and then they started Coal Rock? So, but all I want to get across to you, if you're from Australia, and you've been to a coal rock, I know I've seen them in Melbourne myself personally. You could actually see what Cold Stone was about, mixing the ice creams with the Sunset Theater in front of the customer as they tell you what mixins they want. Let me finish my background quickly, and I'll move it right over to Greg. I'm an author of a book, Buying a Franchise 24 Items to Beware of Before Signing. And that's what Greg and I really specialize in. We try to help the prospective candidate who wants to buy a franchise to know what they're doing, know what to look at, because we've been through it. Uh, so I wrote a book on this. It's on Amazon. We're going to give away a couple because we'll put some questions out there. And if you hear the replay of this, because everybody, if you're not on this, we're going to send the replay to the other 100 people or so who didn't show up. And then what we will do is you can answer the questions. Whatever questions we get in first, we get them a free book. If you come in and follow our system and fill out the application, we'll also give you a free book because we need your address to mail it to. I'm a finance professor at two universities online in the States, University of Phoenix and Colorado Technical University. Now, Greg, why don't you take over on your background?
Yeah, sure, Frank. Thanks for that. Listen, I started way back in 1986 in franchising. I got into a franchise as a fill-in until I decided what I wanted to do. And 27 years later, here I am still involved in the sector. I've worked with 10 different franchise brands over those 27 years. Some of them have been multiple franchise systems at the same time. I currently look after 3 different franchise systems: Speedy Signs, Embroid Me, and Contours, the women's gyms here in New Zealand. And so over the years, I've looked after a number of multiple brands at the same time. Uh, with I started out as a franchisee and then progressed to area manager. And then I got more heavily involved in franchise systems from sales manager to national franchise manager. And I've been described by some of my peers as a pioneer of their brand because I've done a lot of new site startups and new regional startups. That's how I came to live in New Zealand. I came over here to bring a brand over here, and 20 years later, I'm still here.
Right.
I over recent times have done some keynote speaking, and that's something I'm getting more into as I progress within my own business. And that's how I came to set up Franchise Australasia, and I go under the franchise manager as a keynote speaker, and that's me.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. What I want to do is the reason these PowerPoints have franchise. That's the company I work with, and Greg works with the company franchise manager, and we're trying to. I'm going to try to discuss things when we meet with a candidate that we look at so they can pick the correct franchise. My service and Greg's when we're picking a franchise from the States is free. And what we do is we're trying to talk to the audience, my audience from the States and Greg's from down under, and we're going to mention a couple franchises that we'd like to bring to New Zealand and Australia and have people probably be the first in their area, or if there's a couple, they can definitely grow with that fame. So, what should you do when you investigate a franchise? Well, we have several slides on this. Can you afford to buy a franchise? And that's when we ask you to sign up. We're going to ask for confidential information. What is the franchise fee? What is the investment over the franchise fee, over and above? Because you always have to build out a location if it's a retail franchise, or if it's a territory type repair franchise, something you might have to get infrastructure and warehouses and trucks. So you always have to have some fees over and above the franchise fee and so forth. So those are the kind of things we're trying to work with the candidates so they know what the total costs are. What's the total build out cost? When we talk about build out, in essence, a lot of times we're talking about a retail structure where you build a restaurant or a yoga chain or something like that that takes, a lot of dollars to build it out so it looks good in a retail strip mall. And did the franchisor help you with franchising? Excuse me, with financing? I had a story I was told earlier about on other webinars about Boston Market, which is big in the States, is now started out as Boston Chicken. And after a while, they were not doing that well with franchisees because of the fact they were financing them. And you would think, wow, that sounds great. What's so bad about that? Well, problem is they were more focused on financing at 15% than they were helping the brand and changing the product so the franchisees can make a bottom line besides just paying the debt service. So they went away and then they came back now as Boston Market, but they're not franchisable. They're actually one big corporation. But Greg, when I talked to you, you had some good stories on, on build out cost and helping having the franchisee help you. Is that true? Yeah, I think we should terminate this tonight. my my thing on the screen is saying connecting to audio, and it's like it never did that before. And I don't. The internet shouldn't have anything to do with the international or the distance. I don't know. Maybe it's just a bad night on my side, or I don't know. I don't know what's. Yeah. Right. 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 Okay. Okay. No, I'm gonna hit now save. It's only gonna be these first couple slides, but uh, yeah. So I'll stop the thing, and then it